Okay, Ali, I have a question to ask you today,
Mm.
and I've been thinking about it all day. And I've been trying to figure out the difference between confidence and courage, right? So, if I was to ask you, what do you think is the difference between confidence and courage? What comes to your mind, just to start us off?
Confidence and courage. Confidence to do. I'm just trying to say in my mind again to say how how I feel about it. Confidence to do something and a courage to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence to do something uh, comes from your understanding of something, in the
Okay.
sense that I am confident of I'm confident of doing something because I've learned so much about it. I have known this thing, or I've studied this thing, or I at least I know the essence of these things. Whereas
Right.
courage to do something maybe comes from that, uh, regardless of the results, regardless of what I know, what I don't know, if it's the right thing, then I'm courageous to do it. Right? Because that's how courage I feel is used in very moral terms, and
Right.
confidence is used in very business and education terms. Right? So when you talk about, hey man, do you have the courage to do the right thing? That's where there's no similarity at that point between confidence and courage, right? Or
Right.
this is how I think about it. Confidence is very things is like the moral part is, I feel, the very distinct factor between courage and confidence. And this is just top of my head right now.
I like your thinking. So I've been like exploring this concept quite a bit myself,
Mhm.
specifically around the courage part of the
Mhm.
equation, right? So, just sort of to extend what you said about confidence and courage. So in my mind, I see confidence as in, a person has confidence when they believe in their skills and experiences that they've had, right?
Mhm.
If you're attempting to do something, you have the skill set, then you can do this confidently, right? Like if you've climbed a ladder 100 times, then you're confident you can climb a ladder the 101st time,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? But with courage, I've been seeing it very differently. I feel like there is a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to courage. Now, I want to give you an example.
Mhm.
This is something that I was thinking about today, Ali. I've been considering some topics for, making some YouTube videos for myself, and
Mhm.
I've been thinking a lot about those topics. Now, I have the skill set to make the YouTube videos, right? I know how to edit videos. I know how to write a script. I know how to film it, how to get the lighting right, everything that goes into making a YouTube video. I have the skill set for it. So I'm confident in my skills that I can make a decent video. I'm not saying it's the next Emmy nominated or Oscar nominated video, but I can make one. The problem is that I haven't made a YouTube video in a while.
Mhm.
And I've been asking myself, like, why? You know what to do, you know what the topic is, why are you not making a video? And it comes down to the idea of courage. So I was exploring this notion that some of the topics that I want to talk about, right, they're not what you would call mainstream topics, right?
Mhm.
They're Some people would say they're controversial, some people would say that they're difficult to digest, or some
Mhm.
people would say that, this is a conversation that has a very sort of niche audience, right? And I don't believe in any of those because I feel the problem is that I lack the courage to speak up, right? The
Mhm.
courage to do something, the courage to take that next step. Um, and I have questioned myself as to how does one find the courage to do something that they believe deep down inside is necessary? Like, for instance, if I wanted to talk about corruption in the government as an example, right? And I
Mhm.
wanted to be very vocal about it. Now, it's not an easy topic because you are talking about, powerful people in the government. You're talking about people, that can essentially censor you if they wanted to. There could be serious repercussions. So I asked myself, like, is that the problem here? Is that the issue that I lack the courage to speak up against these people? And you could take just this example that I have given you right now. you could take this example and extend it into any facet of life. Let's take, for example, you are starting a company. Now, generally, most people that start a company nowadays, right, they look for funding, right? They'll go to some bank or they'll go to like a venture firm and they'll try to get funding for it. And I was asking myself, like, if I wanted to do something like that, why am I not going to, venture firms? Why am I not presenting my idea? Why am I not talking about my idea to try to get money, to try to get some attention? And it all centers around this idea of finding the courage to do this. Now, how do you find the courage to do something, right? How do you convince yourself that, hey, this is something I need to do? No matter the cost, that this has to be done and I have to be brave and I have to weather the consequences that come my way. And I've explored this topic so much that I've come to the conclusion that there is a tipping point for everybody, right? Where necessity, or rather, um, I don't think necessity would be the right word, but the desire to do something is so strong that the courage doesn't even matter, because I feel like it blends in together with desire and you just go for it. What's the word a lot of people say, like, fuck it, let's just do it, right? I
Mhm,
don't care
mhm,
anymore. I don't care what
mhm,
happens.
mhm,
Like whatever happens happens. And I have found myself in that position a few times where I have done something that I have delayed for a very, very long time, and I've
mhm.
built the skills, I built the certifications, I built the attention around it, but then it's been stagnant. And then one day you're just like, you know what? I can't take this anymore. Like, I'm just going to do it and I don't care about it. And I feel like that's when courage sort of hunts you down and it's like, now it's time. Like, no matter what happens, you have to sort of do it. And the reason, Ali, I am, bringing this topic up today, partly because is of what's going on in the world right now. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and I have been thinking a lot about speaking up, right? Just doing my little part, as in adding a voice to the sea of voices that, what's going on in the world right now is not right. We should not allow it. People cannot be taken advantage of like this. People are not allowed, you should not do these things to people. And I have stopped myself from doing that for many, many reasons. And I want to get your thoughts on this. Just, I guess in a way, I am looking for like a second opinion here. Do you ever find yourself in a position where you know that there is something you need to do and it is sort of a necessity, but you are scared of doing it and you're also scared of admitting it? Am I sort of like
No, no,
making sense?
you're making sense, and it's making me think, of course, about a lot of things in life, from a lot of different angles. I just want to maybe start off with something recently that I've seen, and maybe we can talk
Sure, yeah,
about
yeah.
that, and that might help kind of clear out, break things down a little bit. There's this. Have you heard of this free solo climber called Alex Honnold? Alex Honnold.
Is that the guy who climbed the tower in tight?
Yes,
Yes, I saw the
yes,
video. It was amazing, huh?
yes. Right.
Yeah.
So that guy is also very, and I know him because of that video as well. Right. That's how I got introduced to him.
Right. Yeah.
And then I saw his and of course, fascinated by the mind. I was fascinated by the guy. I was like, bro, how does he think? And so this is how life is now. These days, no matter when I see these things, I try to
Yeah.
find an
Yeah.
interview of this kind of person just to see what is this mind like, right?
That's a
How
great
is he
example. Yeah.
how is he processing this? So he has this
Uh,
solo climb. He has done that. This climb, it was nothing. There's this one climb that he has done. It's called I think the mountain or the hill or the plateau is called El Capitan.
I know
I
it's in
think it's in,
America.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I watched his that I watched his interview and I watched that climb,
Right.
right? So because when you were talking about courage, that this guy was coming to my mind. I was like, what courage he had to
Mm.
do it, because there's only because the option is death. There's no other. Right? The
Yeah.
consequences at the top or death.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
There's
Middle ground.
yeah, right? Like complete failure or success at the end. And yeah, so I'm thinking, I'm like, man, what kind of like? Of course, he has practiced it. But he has practiced it. He has seen the journey. He has like visualized everything. He has seen all the spots where he needs to put his hand in, everything like that. But to have that courage to do it, right? Like he's confident he can do it, right? But that's so different from having the courage to do it. Wouldn't you
I
say?
like that. Yeah.
Right? So because he's practiced, he knows he can do it. But no man, to imagine being on top of that building or top of that mountain, yeah, it's something as simple as a simple cramp can kill you. A
Exactly.
simple
Yes.
a simple sneeze can kill you. A simple
Mm.
itch, a bug bite, a bird
And you're
trying into,
done.
and you're done, bro. And but the courage required, and what drives them to do this, and what allows them to do this, right? What are the factors in place that allow
Yeah.
this person to do something this courageous, right? And I feel this courage part really comes from when there are no other options, Roman. When there
What do
is
you mean?
like one of like so one of the biggest things and a little bit close to my topic for today, or my thought process for today, was that, man, this idea of having options in life is what is weakening us,
Ooh, I
the
love
present
that.
people.
Yeah. I
We
love that.
have
You're absolutely right.
we have so many options in business, in making money, in doing this, in doing that, in everything, that you never commit to anything because you have so many options. You have so many options. How many times have you started a journey or a business or a thought or a process and have left it because some other option came up or something else got introduced to you? You never went into the depths of it just because on the way an option came up, right? Some other option came up. In school, what
Right.
happened? So many options to study. So confused. Like if there was only one option, wouldn't you be a master of that thing by now?
Yeah, yeah, I am just thinking about the fact options that you
Mm.
presented here, and you're absolutely right. I think like that's what it comes down to when all the doors are closed and you just
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one door left, right?
There's no
Yeah,
option. That's where courage. That's where people have found courage. I
yeah.
have no other way out, bro. Like honestly, because so many so like, and I would say even if you do a little bit more, and I'm just kind of thinking of the things that I've seen. Every person who has done something very courageous, a very common thing for them to say, I had no other option than to be courageous or I die, right? There was no other way out. I had to do this, or this had to be
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
There was When there is no other option, Oman. So in life, if I take everything, if I strip you of everything, right? And if I just an example, if I just tell you that, Oman, I'm going to take it back to an example which is very personal to me too. That, hey, you have no other modes of income right now. I'm stripping you of everything. You can only make money through trading, or else it's poverty and death.
Even just as you're saying this, Ali, right now, like I'm not gonna lie to you,
Mhm.
I'm imagining myself that okay, that is my only option left, right? There is a sense of fear inside of me, right? Because
Right?
yeah, I'm just being 100% transparent, but there is a sense of fear inside of me because now I know I have no way out, right?
Mhm.
This is my only way forward, right? There is no other option. There are no backups left. This is all I have. And yes, there is a sense of fear inside of me, and my brain is immediately like trying to give me other options, like, oh, but we can do this. Oh, but we can do that. And I'm like, but if this is the only one left, right? Like go forward or no, right? And I can feel the hesitation in my body right now. I really can. I can feel the hesitation, and this is what I'm trying to explore, right? Like so just based off what you have said right now, Ali, and I'm trying to envision what you've said. So are we saying that courage is the result of a lack of options?
Courage, yes, courage is a result of, actually. no, no, not even lack, literally, not even scarcity. Literally, no other option is there.
Mm. Just
There is
one
no,
forward path. Yeah.
just one. Like, and for some people, we say live or die, this that, right? Like, it's really at that level. And death is not just like the physical form death. Like, your soul dies, your identity dies. There are so many kinds of deaths that a person might experience, right? Not just the
Right.
physical form death, right? But when things like that are at stake, when you have no way out, when there is nothing else that could be done, that you like, it is really like, if I could visualize this, that I'm standing at the edge of the cliff. There is another cliff, there's a big jump in front of me, right? I know that at the other side of that, I see people on the other side of the cliff. The wall behind me is just pushing me closer to and the wall is not going to stop. Okay, it's going to push me over the cliff. I have only one option: either to let it push me over the cliff and it's all done, either I take the jump and go on the other side. There are only two options. And that point, you jump. That point, you jump. There's no other option, right? Like, if you die, then again, it's done. Right? Like, uh it's done. There was like, then you don't have to worry about nothing ever again, right? Which is
So
also very sad, and that kind of thought, but no other option. And as I'm saying this to you, I'm just like, man, how, again, I feel that, that little bit clear goosebumpsy feeling as well.
yeah, yeah.
What if I just, I'm like, man, what if I just strip myself away from all of this, like all the other income, side incomes, this, that, and like, and if I decide that I just want success with this thing, right? And I let go of all my training wheels and all my security nets and everything. Done. I'm very sure the way I live the way I practice things right now, or how fast I learn, or how fast it would be 100x more. It would be 100x more.
I like that thinking, Ali, and I feel like the fact that you said, just visualizing that jump
Mm.
that you talked about. So it's more like a leap of faith, right? You
Mhm.
sometimes have to take that leap of faith, because I have been exploring this concept quite a lot, and reading the stories of very successful people, people who have made something of themselves, and people who have become famous names in many
Mhm.
many industries and sectors across the world. Many of them have repeatedly said that they had the courage to make that one decision, they had the courage to make that one choice, they had the courage to follow their dreams or whatever it may be, right? And I've always asked myself, like, well, why do they say courage? If you're following your passion, you're following your dreams, you're trying to do something you want to do, why are we talking about courage then? Right? Why is courage such an important aspect of this? Like, why do you need to be brave to like, if you want to be a painter, right, you want to
Mhm.
be an artist, you don't need to be brave to be an artist, right? Like,
Mhm.
what does bravery have to do with being an artist? And now that I have as I've matured over the years, as I've
Mhm.
increased my learning, as I've explored stories from many many people, I realize that no matter the passion, no matter the venture, you have to have this level of courage inside of you, this level of bravery inside of you to pursue it, right? Because
100%.
yeah,
100%.
because the second you go in a direction, right, you are closing all other doors. And as
Mhm.
human beings, we love options, because options give us comfort, options give us safety, options, make us believe that everything is going to be all right. Oh, well, if this doesn't work out, I can always go back to this, right? And I think this is one of the biggest things with entrepreneurs, right? If you're trying to start your own business, I see many of them will tell you that, yeah, I was trying to build my startup company and I was still working a full time job and it was very difficult and I managed to get through it. And, but they're
Then there are
always,
people who,
yeah,
then there are people who are like, bro, I left it all. I
yeah.
committed it all, and
I
I
did.
made it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the ones that fascinate me the
Hmm.
most, because I
And
know a few
mhm,
people that
mhm.
have literally quit their jobs midway, very little savings, going into debt. They're
Uh-huh.
like, I believed in my idea so hard, I was adamant that it was going to work out. And it wasn't one of those, like, we talked about delusion before, right? uh,
Mhm.
it's not just about delusion, but you could see in their faces that nothing would deter them. That you would say
Nothing, nothing,
anything, they
really
would
nothing.
face it, they'd be like,
Mhm.
bro, I know I can figure it out. I know I can, because this idea, this goal that I have is keeping me up at night, and I am so fascinated by it. I'm like, man, these guys wake up in the morning, they go to bed late, they still wake up early in the morning, and they're like, I am at it because I know this is gonna work. No matter what happens, like, I am gonna pursue it. And they do it with such energy, they do it with such courage. It's just mind boggling. And I've been trying to replicate this in my life as well, right?
It's
I've been trying. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, so this like uh to replicate. Sorry, just going with the last one, to replicate
Yeah,
this
yeah.
in your life now. It's just, I'm just thinking that, man, this is such a, actually this is such an enlightening part, to be honest with you, that we've been looking to be confident, right? But actually, what's needed is courage, in a way, right?
I
Like,
love that. No, I
right,
love that. That's a very, very good point.
right.
Yeah, you're
So
right. It's not about
it's
confidence.
this is, man, this book. There's this book, no man. It's called Relentless by Tim S. Grover. A book that really inspired me into thinking
Yeah.
how winners think, like how these people who give it all think, because these are the people who are, the top, the elite of the elite, the top of the top, and what makes them that, what makes them that way. It like, and there's some parts of it are, is that it says that everybody knows how to compete, okay, but only few know how to win. There's a difference between just being part of it and giving it all and taking it all out of it, in the sense
Okay.
that, like, they, like, his idea, his concept of a winner is just this absolute beast, is an absolute beast guy. To a point, they are destructive. They would destroy everything around them in order to achieve what they wanted to achieve, whether it's relationship, money, finance, whatever it is. They will destruct everything to achieve what they, that's how first, passionate they are, right? But again, as we were talking about, uh, 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 the uh, the climber guy, Alex, right? The courage, because, tell me, man, there are so many things that you're good at, right? But the courage part is the part that, like, I think we have really, like this distinction that we have been able to kind of explore right now. I'm really resonating with this, just to a part that I'm like, man, because confidence wise, there are so many books and things that I have built my confidence. That's no issue. I know
Right.
I know it. I know it. Not an issue. But what's the difference between that guy and me? He or she had the courage to, and sometimes I do, I haven't used the word like this, but sometimes I do think about it in terms of, uh not the word, but scenarios and sentences. Just to give an example, I'm like, man, sometimes when sometimes when I lose money trading, example, and if it's just a couple of $100 here and there, and then I tell myself, I'm like, man, I'm thinking thousands and millions, and hundreds are affecting me. Come on now, right? Like, come on now, bro. Like, see how, and I see these big traders, right? The people who make really big trades, they move thousands of dollars every single day, millions every single year. It requires courage, right? To do these kind of things, even to a point that, people who uh, even people who do big charities, it requires courage to give away a certain portion of yours, to something at the end of the day. Even this guy, Alex Honor, Alex guy, the climber guy, I'm just thinking, bro, what, like, if he did not have the courage, right? He would have practiced, he would have been on paper for such a long time, right? And
Mm.
all that confidence, studies, knowledge would have died with him. he did not need confidence, preparation, yes, but he, even with all the preparation, you need courage, man. You need courage to step into that ring, right? Consequence, I don't
Uh-huh.
know, but the courage to do, like,
So the courage to put your skills into practice.
yeah, bro, like to see, like, and the part that and this is what courage does to you. The courage doesn't like, it doesn't let you fail, right? Because courage doesn't know. He's like, man, I had the courage to do this, right? And once you know that you have the courage to do this, then there's the easy part. Then the easy part is okay, improve the mistakes, and it's done because I already have the courage. I had the courage to do it, right? Like, really, like, I know this could be disguised in so many ways, but if you had the confidence of, you have tried, tested a strategy, a method so many times, you have the confidence that you can turn a dollar into two. Example, okay? But when I tell you, Noman, when you have the courage to, when you have the confidence that it will do a dollar to two, why not put a million so that turns into 2 million? Example, okay?
Oh,
Right? At that
yeah.
part, it's not the confidence. Now you need courage,
Yeah.
right?
The courage to
Yeah,
take the risk.
yeah, the courage to take. It's not confidence. The confidence was where there were still safety nets, right? If one goes to two, I know. If even if one goes the way, I know I'll still be okay, right? I can still figure it out. It's not that much of. But when I say, one, why not put a million? Because you know you're confident that it's going to be two. Then you need the
The
balls,
courage.
right? The
You do.
courage
You do.
to take that step, and that's where things change.
So it's the courage to gamble on yourself, right? Like you have
Yeah,
to be
bro.
willing to gamble. I love that analogy, Ali, because I was just thinking about like, you gave a perfect example. Because see, this example makes a lot of sense to me, the trading example, because that's our world, right?
Mhm,
Like we
mhm.
sit and stare at charts all day. If you know you can turn a dollar into $2 consistently, then you could turn a million into 2 million. But do you have the courage to risk $1 million, right? But I feel like you know with even with courage, it comes down to the kind of courage you need for that situation, right? Am I gambling on myself? Am I gambling on my skills? Am I, what am I gambling on, right? Because you need to have that
Mhm,
courage to do so. And it's a very good example. So I guess, like, one point we should explore on this one,
mhm,
because
mhm,
why not, right?
mhm.
um where does that, like, sort of point come for everybody where they say, like, uh it, I've failed at 100 different things, right? I've tried so many things, it's never worked and whatnot, and now I have this one option ahead of me. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what is that mindset to make that decision that this is it, this is all in now, right?
Man,
Like, what is
yeah.
that mindset?
This like I'm just gonna go back to the options part because
Sure.
this is the topic that I was exploring a bit.
Sure.
And it's, say, a person who has a lack of identity, or whose identity is not set, okay, or confused identity, loves options.
What do you mean?
Example, when you go for shopping, okay, you see
Okay.
that there are one thing has 30 options, okay. You identify, right now, for example, you're going in without any identity, okay, of you're just going in there. You just know you have to buy this thing, okay. Example, you just have to buy, uh, I'm going to give you a jam example because the study is on jam, but this is a completely different take on that study. But it's still within that part. And I'll explain what the study was about decision fatigue. But and then there's a different study about identity. I'm kind of merging the two to have this hybrid understanding of it. But hear me out, okay? So example, you go and um, jam. Okay, let's just say jam. Okay, there are 30 jam options in front of you. Okay, if you don't know what you want, you will study each of them, right? If you don't know what you want, you will consider all the options.
Yeah. Pretty
right?
much. Right.
And what would that do to you? Studying
At
each
first,
option. Mm.
it would overwhelm me because I
Right?
now have so many options ahead of me. Right.
Okay. And then if you knew going in that I want the jam that has the least sugar. Okay, I'm
Then
trying to
I've
be
narrowed
healthy,
down my, yeah. Then I've
right?
narrowed down, yeah.
Right. Or if you, example, if you're going to buy something and I just want I want the most expensive and the best of this one. You
Yeah.
enter the store, every other option is irrelevant. Every other
It's
option is irrelevant
it's pretty, yeah, 100%. It's irrelevant
because
because
you know
I
what
know
you
what
want,
I want. Yeah, I
right?
know what I
You
want.
exactly when you know what you want, right? When you exactly know who you are, because your self image or your identity is what your brain allows you to do. Okay, it's not going to do something out of what you have set your identity as. If your identity is that, hey man, I look for the best deals, you're going to go through each deal, right, to find the best deal, right? But if you know that, hey, I'm exactly let's be very, like, another example is like, if I'm entering a shop and I'm looking for the highest protein milkshake, right? One says, and the person tells me, hey, we have put them in ascending order, right? I will just look at the top shelf, right?
Yeah, pretty much because you know.
That's it, no? Simple. Life is nice, simple, and easy. Things happen very fast, no confusion whatsoever.
Mhm.
You go in, you make the decision, you come out. You go in, you make the decision, you come out. Life is very easy rather than, hey man, I don't know what I want. Is 12 grams good or 15 grams good or 18 grams good or 30? This is what options have done to us. Kept us in a state of constantly experiencing the other, never committing to one.
So spoiled for choice, basically.
Yeah, true. Like really, 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 this is the part of it that it's really kept us uh
Stagnant.
stagnant. Even like uh so, and we love, and right now we think more options are better. This is how we have been trained, right? Or this is what our normal understanding of the world is. The more options, the better. Give me more options, bro. Right? But like, I don't know, if you could think of something recent in your life, right? Where you might have extended a decision by a week or a month just because you had a lot of options and you wanted to explore all the options,
Oh yeah, yeah. I there's so many examples where I've
right?
delayed stuff because of that. Yes.
And then if you consider that it has taken a month out of your life.
100% yes.
What could have that month done for you if you had that thing in your hand already?
This is something I have thought about quite a bit, and I have been in a position where I have delayed things
Hmm.
because I had multiple options in front of me, and
Hmm.
I'm grateful you bring this example up, Ali, because I just wanna, maybe you might be able to pull this apart. So I'm just gonna share what my mindset was at the
Hmm.
time. So I had an opportunity to do something in life, and I never ended up doing it because of exactly what you described, that options, right? So there was one option ahead of me at that time. It was the only option ahead of me. And as I was exploring the option, what had happened was a few more options were presented to me. I think I had like
Hmm.
three, four options.
Hmm.
And I said to myself that now that I have three, four options, I I had this sense of comfort inside of me that I wasn't
Uh-huh.
committing to something that
Hmm.
I wasn't sure of, right? And take and I'm being very careful with my words because I
Hmm.
feel that there might be something in here you could pull apart, but uh, I wasn't sure of, and that only happened when these other options were presented to me. Up until the point when I only had one option, I did not have this thinking that, is this going to work out, or like, what happens if it doesn't work out. At that point, I was just looking at what the option was. But the second more options were introduced, suddenly doubts started to emerge and then delays started to happen. And I remember that I had created sort of a timeline based just on the first option that I would execute at this point, and this is and then I would proceed from there. That point passed away, and I was still exploring those two to three other extra options, and I never ended up doing anything with it because I found myself confused. I found myself suffering from so much doubt that I lost all motivation and discipline around this opportunity, to the point where my belief in the opportunity, right, my faith in the opportunity started to fade away. And these options that were there, including the original, I lost complete faith in them. And rather than, focus on the how do I say this, the positives of each option, right, I was like heavily fixated on the negatives. Oh, this one's not going to work for this reason. Option two is not going to work for this reason. I wasn't like, I'd completely removed myself from the situation, to the point where I was analyzing them as if I was some kind of judge, right? I didn't even factor in like how I would play into it. I did not even factor in like what would suit me the best. It was just taking everything at face value, and it corrupted the whole idea, to the point that I was so turned off by it that I completely shut out the opportunity, and I never looked back at it. And this is, one of the things in my life that has haunted me for many, many years. Ali, this was a little over like 6, 7 years ago,
Mhm.
and it still haunts me every now and then, because I lie in bed and I think about it, and it really breaks my heart. Like I genuinely, even just thinking about it right now, like I feel so like sad about it, because that original option that was presented to me, Ali,
Mhm.
it was the winning option, and it worked for other people that took that option, right? They executed it. They didn't doubt themselves, because they weren't, spoiled for choice, and they made something out of it. And I sat there, trying to look at multiple choices, looking at multiple avenues. And inside of my head, I was telling myself that, look at how mature you are, Numan. Look at how amazing you've become. Look at how intelligent you are. You explore everything. Your dad would be proud of you. Bro,
Mhm. Mhm.
nothing worked now,
Yeah, no, no,
Dad, what were you doing, right? Like,
true,
and,
true,
and,
true.
and, and, uh, I've, sort of, asked, and this is where you might find this also
Mhm.
interesting, is I've said to myself many, many times, right, and this is where it really hurts. If only, this is what I've said, and I've written this down in my journals
Mhm.
previously. If only I had the courage to just follow the first option.
Seriously.
That's what I keep telling myself, right? And I know, like, now that I think about it, right, like now that I think about, like, based on the conversation we had on courage, and the fact that you bring up options, right, and it's put into perspective where it went wrong and where it could have gone right. And so, sort of coming back to this courage aspect, I think, like, Ali, the question to ask now would be, is, if you were in my position back then,
Mhm.
right, would you say that it was about the courage to take the option that was presented to you, or the courage to reject all the other options that were presented after the fact?
Honestly, I feel it was because some things, as example, some decisions you did not make in that time. Now you look back, might have been. You gave me example that it might have the best one, but at the same time,
Right.
there are a few that you look back and you're like, man, thank God I did not take it at that time.
Yeah,
That would have
yeah,
been bad for me, right? So it's a mix
yeah.
and match. It's not like a like they're both sides of the spectrum at the end of at the end of the day. But your decision at that point in time really tells you how what your identity is, or what your self-image is, or what you wanted at that time. If you went against what you wanted, okay, at that point in time, then it's something. Then it's something. Then of course you will feel this way, right? Like, hey, I should have done that when when the opportunity was there, right? So the point that I am thinking of, or the point that I'm taking from your conversation, is that this courage of doing the right thing, or the thing that you wanted to, when the opportunity, if you know you want this, okay, example, if you know you want this, when that situation comes to you, then you should have the courage to do that. That's because then I'm just going to bring in options. If at that time you start exploring options, you are doing a disservice to the entire scenario because you see what options do to you, right? What they did to you. So when the opportunity comes, right, you have to have the courage. And you said a very important part of the courage before. You said a little bit faith, kind of, right?
Yeah,
Very, very initially use the word faith
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So you just have the courage and the faith that you called for this, you wanted this. Now that it's here, you should do this. It's as simple as it's um, and when this is not just in terms of business and entrepreneurship and thing. This is in terms of many, many, many things in life. People talk about these things in terms of their life partners, right? Bro, I've had even with like just relationships too. You did not have the courage to say something, or you don't have the courage to do something, even though you wanted that thing the most at that point in time. Somebody
Yeah, I
else had
like
the
that.
courage, and
Yeah.
they took it from you. Honestly, like it has happened. Like I personally, this has happened to me. Right? It got taken away just because I did not have the courage to say, or to really reveal myself. Right? I wasn't able to reveal myself, even though I knew myself, but I couldn't reveal myself. That hey, this is and it was because of so many other options, because of the outside people, could be parents, could be friends, could be society that you live in, could be the culture, value, beliefs, whatever it might be. At some points, but I feel something important has been said over here, that the courage to reveal yourself matters. People, options, things don't allow you to reveal yourself, right? Like you want something, you wanted one, right? But somehow you don't have the courage because of so many. You don't have the courage to say it out because so many factors around you. You're thinking of this, you're thinking of that. Uh, so many things kind of put it down in you, right? So this idea of, man, if you have like even in terms of like I hear so many people say, if you have the courage to say, to see it, to believe it, you have the courage to, then have the courage to do it, right? Have the courage to do it. That's the part that I feel is lacking in this entire, not lacking, but a point to focus in this entire conversation. The courage to do it, the consequences of it, neither you know, neither I know. Life is as such, right? The most perfect things could be bad. The most chaotic things could be good, right? That part, but mind loves to predict. But life is very unpredictable. It could go a certain way, but then you don't know. So the part being that, man, if you really could sum up the courage to do something that you really wanted to, put yourself in situation, either that loss is too big for you to handle and you have the courage to do it, or else if you did not, then that tells you something about yourself. And one sentence that's out there, it says that, I'm just trying, I wrote it down because it kind of resonated with me. It said, uh, sorry, just trying to kind of word it properly. It's said, too many options expose identity weakness. Too many options kind of help you explore your weaknesses in your identity.
You know,
You
I
wanted
really,
this.
yeah, I
Yes,
really
please.
like that statement. Do you know why I like that statement?
Mm.
Because as you were explaining this, I was thinking about the role of commitment. I feel like if you have one option, then it's all about committing to that, right? And if you're someone that has commitment issues, you know, you have to
Mhm.
have the courage to commit to something.
Yeah, with me,
And I
listen.
think that's a big part of like the identity aspect, right? Are you someone who commits, or are you someone who just kind of like floats between multiple things, right? Because there is no permanence in your life, right? But please continue with your thought. I just wanted to like
Mm.
put that out
So,
there as sort of a thought.
because then this is like options are just in a way distractions, right? You justify things with, oh, but that option is there, this option is there. Like, I'm just thinking in terms of shopping. Sometimes, bro, like example, I want this item. Okay, I example, I tell myself, maybe this is identity crisis. Okay, let's put it this way. I want the best of this this. I want the best of this tech. Okay, let's go. Uh, let's go buying a cell phone. Okay, because remember we this was recent, right? We had a conversation, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I remember that one. Yeah.
man, uh, if I entered the store, okay, knowing that I want the best high tech phone, I asked the salesperson, "Hey, bud, like I want the fastest phone, the best. I want the fastest phone. Let's make it even more niche and more narrowed. Okay, I want the fastest operating phone. Ali, Apple, this is the highest operating phone. Thank you. Give me this phone." As soon as I ask, "Are there other options?" There you go. A whole new trajectory to things start.
Yeah.
Things that you should not have considered, now you will consider. Things that are outside of your main scope, main goal, are now in your consideration. How easy was it? Or I go in, I'm like, man, I need the best budget phone. So easy. I don't have to fight with myself.
Yeah.
Hey, but I need to take, because I was fighting with myself. Then at the end, I was like, and just with this conversation yesterday, actually, I was thinking to myself, I was like, bro, it took me so much time. I went to the shop twice and never came out with a phone, right? Because I was trying to do two things. I was trying to get the best deal and I was trying to get the best deal for the most high tech. But those two things don't come together. How can I have the best? I need the highest. I need what's the biggest thing in the market at the best price of my pocket. Two different identities, Ari. You're trying to buy a budget phone. You're trying to buy the highest technology on the budget. It doesn't work this way, bro. Are you looking for a budget phone? Or are you looking for the high tech phone?
Yeah.
Then I decided. I was like, bro, right? Yeah, I was like, bro, right now it's very obvious that I already have a high tech phone. I'm looking for my second budget phone. Very next third time I went in the store, I exactly knew what I wanted. Half an hour, I was done, Numan.
Hmm.
Just because I made it clear what I want.
I like that approach. I like your thinking on this one, right? I really do, because you were able to sort of like narrow down and eliminate the noise, right? Because that's what you essentially did, right? There was noise coming in from in your head, and you're like, okay, I don't need this noise. This is
Hmm.
what I'm trying to do. And like you tried to fixate yourself onto one identity and then execute
True,
based on that
true, true.
identity, right? I really love that thinking, because just sort of like the idea of identity, I feel like it plays a very, very well, not plays, I think it is one of the biggest aspects of a person, right? What is their
Mhm.
identity? Now, I don't think identity is something that is permanent. I feel like identities evolve over time based on experience and exposure and whatnot, right? Knowledge, education. But you cannot have multiple identities. You cannot be a frugal person and then want to eat out at expensive restaurants at the same time, right?
Yes.
Like those two
Mhm,
things
mhm.
clash with each other. And this there is also so, and now I'm trying to put this into my own shoes,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
A part of me, right? That is very so this is where my conflict is. A part of me wants to speak up and talk about things that I am so passionate about. I really am.
Uh-huh.
And
Mhm.
I think about them all day. I dream about them all day, and I want to talk about them all day. And I align with that identity more than anything else, right? But then there is this other identity of mine that wants to
Uh-huh.
play it safe, that wants to be,
Uh-huh.
like, well, what if, like, that happens, or what if something negative happens, or what if, like, people judge you? And I feed that identity just because it feeds into my fair response, and I give into
Bro,
my
no,
fair response. You know what I'm
no,
trying to
no, no, one, no, one, no, one. This is so crazy because I'll tell you in
Uh-huh.
my notes, okay?
Uh-huh.
These are the 3 points I've written, okay? And hear this out. Hear this out.
Go for
People
it.
of people often keep options open because they
Uh-huh.
fear
Yes.
committing and failing, committing and being judged, committing and losing other identities. Keeping options open feels safe, but it creates quiet anxiety. You are never fully in, you're never fully out. Half commitment creates long-term stress. These are my notes. Okay. And you kind of said everything one by one. The first four things that you said, is he reading? Is he reading what I've written? Right? Like just because this is from a thought diary, right? I was just like, man, what is this idea of options? What do options do to you?
Right.
What have options done to me? Right? Like
Right.
it's like it's so actually this is so you're on. I feel you're on point, bro. That this is what options uh this is what options do to you, bro. If you like, if you go if you go into buying a car, you know you want a sports car, you are not going to engage into an economically friendly budget car. You know you want a sports
Yes.
car, bro. I now
Yes.
burn that fuel. I need a sports car, bro. I'm not looking for, hey, but why don't you look? Why would I even look over there? I'm not
Yeah.
concerned with that. I'm not concerned with that. Somebody who else has that idea will come explore that. I am not. Get it done, bro. I'm here for this. I need this. Give it to me. I'm here. So once you know these things, and this comes and this and I'm telling you, this is not just an entrepreneurial or business thing. This is in terms of everything. When you know something, you want something, you get it done. Hey, I like you. I want you. I need you. Get it done. I want this. I like this. I'm done. I want to pursue this. I'm ambitious. Get it done. You see, life happens very, and this is a, successful people have a very common trait of making good, fast decisions. Why do you think people
Yes.
can make fast? Why do you think people can make quick, fast decisions? Because they know what they want.
Yeah.
They know what they want, and it's
I,
done.
I
It's
I
easy.
love that. Yeah, I love that. Can you repeat your the points that you'd written down? Can you just repeat them once more? I just want to hear them
Uh,
once more.
So people often keep options open because they fear committing and failing, committing and being judged, or committing and losing other identities. For me, the third one is the most important one.
That
Committing
is
and losing
that's
other
yeah.
identities.
That is the one I am like that is the one that immediately like makes me uncomfortable
Mm.
because and you know how we feel about uncomfortable, right? Like that's the one
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be addressed.
Uh-huh.
So can we just sort of explore this committing and losing other identities, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you don't mind, let's sort of like I want to explore this idea of losing identities because I've always wondered, right? Like singular identity versus multiple identities. And I feel like
Uh-huh.
a lot of people have multiple identities. Well, majority of people have multiple identities based on the situation. But
Uh-huh.
like you said, successful people, right? I want something, I will figure out a way to get it done. That is the end of story, right? There is
Mm-hmm.
no like, oh, what will happen? What am I going to do? Like, there's no bitching and moaning about it. So so if I was to ask you about this idea of like losing identity, the fear of losing identities, what are you trying to say here? What does that mean to you? Can you just help me out
Yes,
here?
you are losing balance, bro. Balance is gone.
Ooh, I love that, losing balance.
Yeah, there's no more balance. There is no more balance because that identity, because we're only looking at the bright side, right? There's a dark side to this identity having one identity as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You, your moral balance goes away completely. Now there's no balance, no man. There's no more balance. You know what you want, whether it's in the dark or in the bright. You know what you want. You're gonna get it. I get what I want. Now it could be. Now you could take this anywhere. There's men, and the reason I say this, Naman, is because in this in this Tim in this book called Relentless. Let me just go through my notes over here because there's something I was
Mm-hmm.
going through my notes today, and I remembered something, and then see. I wish I could show you a picture right now, but after 4 pages of taking notes, there came a chapter, and this is what I've written. This is what I've written to myself. Okay, there's an empty page. In the center, this is what's written. I stopped reading here. The book got weird with the dark side stuff. Not for me. This is what I've written exactly on my notes.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
skipped that chapter and I went forward. In that chapter, but then again, I came back to it later. In that chapter, the guy was talking about why all these super ambitious people get in trouble in life.
Okay. What's the thinking? Yeah.
The thinking is because they remember how and actually I remember skimming that chapter. I haven't sat down, but now that we've spoken about this, I feel that I got the essence of it because the balance is gone, no man. Now their thing is I get what I want. Okay, I get what I want. This is who I am. I I am like example, I am the alpha. Okay, They cannot be alpha in one situation and beta in the other situation. In all situations, they're alpha. Whether it's in business, whether it's in relationship, whether it's in drugs, whether it's in partying, they are the alpha in every situation. That identity spills over every single place because now there's only one identity. There's no identity to balance it out. In some situations, I'm like this just because this requires no. There's only one identity in every situation. I am the alpha. That is it.
I,
Alpha does
I
this.
I like your approach on this one. I like your thinking on this one, and it is resonating with me because I know for a fact that I have different identities when I speak to people, right? The
Mhm,
way I speak to you, because when I'm speaking to you, I am at my most comfortable. Like, I know I can discuss difficult topics
mhm,
with you. I
mhm.
know I can, so I don't have to keep my guard up, because this thing only works is if I am, absolutely like transparent with you about what's going on, because that's how growth comes in. And then I know that there is another identity that when I'm talking to other people, that I have to put my guard up, that I don't have to say these things, be careful with my words.
Mhm, mhm,
I feel like, how do I say this, that my position in that conversation is not equal. Do you get what I'm saying?
mhm, mhm,
Right.
mhm, mhm.
So I think that plays a big factor into it. So this question of identity, right? So if I was this is making me ask this question then: how do you consolidate this into one identity then? Like, if you're someone that suffers from this sort of a multiple identity syndrome, let's call it, right? You're trying to start something, one identity is forcing you into the negative, the other identity is the one that takes you to the next level. How do you make that right choice and tell yourself, like, that's the one I'm doing now, like, that's,
It's
I'm,
the one.
yeah.
See, the one that's the one that serves you is that identity.
But serves you
Everything.
how, like,
Like. Let me try and explain this a little bit further. The identity. See, like when you say serves you how, it's and I think this is what that chapter was a little bit talking about, right? That this identity, like like they are so focused on getting what they want, which is like to be the best.
yeah,
Everything else around them has to suffer, or everything around them will suffer. Their example, their example, their relationships with the family. Okay,
yeah,
because this guy is just looking to be the best. He is in and out, day and day, practicing. He's like, man, right now I know I need to find balance with seeing my daughter's, uh, piano lesson. No, bro. I'm sorry, I can't. Something because they're not like, because that's what, at least for a few years, they, and sometimes their families understand, sometimes families suffer. Sometimes you hear a lot of good people, a lot of people talking good about that guy, but family members, people close to them, talking shit about that guy, right? Because he was just focused on, and I know the book talks about Kobe Bryant, talks about Michael Jordan, how focused that they gave up everything else, everything else, family time, days, emotional this thing, vacation, everything was given up just to get this thing done. That's how addicted they were to having success. It was almost like an addiction to have, and honestly, I think the word addiction kind of really helps us understand, because what does addiction do, Noman? You don't care about anything, right?
no, you don't. Yeah,
Literally,
addiction, yeah, I know
people
addiction,
can
yeah.
people can cry and they can shake you, but you're addicted. You just cannot, and you just cannot help yourself, right? That's what because I think we really touched the core part here, that with having one identity, you lose balance, Noman. It's done. Like, the balance is gone, bro. Because to have balance, you need more identities, right? To balance it out with the world, with the people. But
Absolutely,
this,
yeah.
but this is the cause of having, like, of course, it comes with like having multiple identities comes with consequences, right? So having single identity comes with consequences. It just depends which consequence do you want, or you can bear, right?
Which consequence you're willing to live with.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. Which consequence are you willing to live with? Right. If and you can tell people, like now sometimes now that I'm talking about this, I can, if somebody, like, it's very easy for you can even tell somebody if they go like, man, why didn't you get this thing done? If I would have, you would, because you could, because for example, for them, you could not have lived with the consequence of, if I would have gone that way, if I would have taken it too seriously, you know the things I have to sacrifice, right? Would you be happy then? Right? If I don't give you the time of
Yeah,
the day, would you be
yeah, I
happy
know
then?
what you. Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
So understand what's at stake, understand what is being done, understand what is being asked for. Like, because we are trying to live a full life, right? We're trying to enjoy the beach and the good food and the gym, right? Right? We trying to do everything, right, Noan?
we
We're
are
trying
we are
to.
trying to do everything. See, that's one of the biggest, problems with living in today's world,
Oh,
is
uh-huh.
that there are so many things you can do. There are so, and we're spoiled for choice, right? Like, we
Exactly.
absolutely spoiled for choice. And I think one of the best examples that illustrates this, Ali, maybe you might agree with me on this or not, but or maybe you might have actually experienced this, but like, I have a subscription to Netflix, right?
Mhm,
And I know sometimes, like when I sit down to eat, like I just want to watch something.
mhm,
And there have been moments where I've been browsing Netflix for 20 minutes,
mhm,
trying to find something to watch. There's so much to watch, but I'm like, oh, this is an action movie. Don't want to watch action. Oh, this is too funny. Don't feel like funny. Oh, this is too sad. Or like, this isn't the kind of movie I want to watch. And you sit there for 20 minutes and your food is now cold. And
Yep.
you still have, I still haven't put on anything to watch. And then by the time you finally put on something to watch, you finish your meal in 15 minutes,
Mhm.
and then you close it, and
Yeah. Mhm,
right. And 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 we are so spoiled for choice. And I've always said to myself, like, y- I'm the kind of person that is constantly overwhelmed with all the options and choices that I have. And I am like, I have struggled, and I still struggle. Like, I'm
mhm,
not saying that I have struggled. I am
mhm,
still
mhm.
struggling with like trying to narrow down and committing to something. Like, I've always hated the idea of committing to one thing because I feel like it limits a person. But now, as I have
It's
grown
the
and as I've
it's the
matured, I
opposite.
realize
Actually,
it's
it's the opposite.
exactly
Mhm,
the opposite. And it hit me like a brick when I realized that. Like, it absolutely hit me like a brick when I realized that, Numan, you're thinking about it wrong. You have to think of, the opposite here. This is growth. Like, you have to complete the journey. You're looking at the entry and going like, well, I don't know, man, right?
And
And
and and this is,
yep,
and what you said about, see, because the modern environment right now, right?
yeah, yeah.
It is kind of designed to overwhelm you, right? As
Oh
you said,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
As it, like, the 1,000 Netflix shows, man, it's like 50, like, so many business models, infinite YouTube videos and tutorials about something, right? So many different career paths, right? So many, like, and another thing, constant social comparison of things, right? Like, I remember when I was a kid, Numan, right? There was only one channel, Cartoon Network. Cartoons only came on one channel,
Yeah,
Cartoon Network. I
Cartoon
wanted to,
Network. Yeah,
I wanted to watch cartoon. I only go to the Cartoon Network. I played on whatever was on. I used to enjoy. That was it. That was it, right?
yeah.
But but now I feel more time goes scrolling the TV than watching the TV, just because of
Exactly. Yes.
all the options that we have. Something that I've written down. I think I should just share.
Go for
If
it.
you never know anything else, then what you have is the best,
I like that. If you never know you have anything else, then what you have is the best. I like that.
right? And the best way to kill somebody's joy or distract somebody's what, Oman?
Comparison.
Yes, bro. Just
That's the comparison is the thief of joy.
bro,
Yes.
wanna kill somebody's joy, right? Hey, bro, I got a Ferrari S. Bro, I got a Ferrari S2. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, okay. Oh, bro, I got a Samsung S25. I got a Samsung S25 Plus, bro. Oh, oh, okay. Uh,
It
okay.
never ends, right? Like,
Yeah.
you are right. Comparison truly is the thief of joy. And I think, like, we sort of like, when we talk about comparison, we sort of see it as an external thing, but it truly is an internal thing, right? It affects us more internally than it does externally, right? It doesn't matter if someone has an S25 plus, like it's not affecting your life in any way. Your phone is doing the exact same thing that person's phone is doing. And 9 times out of 10, what you do with your phone is make phone calls and send messages. That is it. That is it. But the way someone makes you feel because they say that, I have something slightly better than you, it makes you feel less than. Because
And
I've,
mm,
I've been in that position where, I've had two choices in front of me and someone's picked the other choice and they have a
uh-huh.
slight edge that doesn't even matter, right?
Mm. And then this adding to this thing, Ahmad, this and this is so crazy. You know how like the human psychology we've spoken about this.
Yeah.
Okay, we spoke about see, just check out this point. When you have too many options, okay, people then rarely choose the tough ones.
When you have too many options, people rarely choose the tough one. Yeah, I agree with that one. Who in their right mind chooses the tough one? That would have been my go-to thinking. Yeah, go on.
True, but if the tough one was the only option, then that's the only option that needs to be done. But if you're given five options, and of course you will choose the path of least resistance, right? The least friction,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
And the higher the price, the higher the sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So if you choose a low ticket item, it's going to require low ticket work at the end of the day, right? And that's what the mind wants. Mind doesn't want to work. Mind doesn't want too much being too uncomfortable. It will
Hmm.
justify, it will rationalize whichever way for you to choose the path of least resistance, right? So this is another part of options. What options do to you? You tend to choose things that are not too challenging when you're given five options, right? Even though if you are put in that situation, you will conquer that. You know it. That's what humans do, right? Humans are the most adaptive, most overcoming creatures ever. We adapt like nobody, right?
Yeah, it's in
But
our nature to adapt and
right,
overcome.
but only when we are put in that situation. But do we ourselves ever put ourselves in that situation? We tend
No.
not to, right? Somebody else sometimes puts us in that situation. Sometimes coaches do, sometimes mentors
Yeah.
do, sometimes life does. And then we act up. And then we're like, man, I didn't know I had this in me. I got it done, bro. Because you were put in that situation. So what's stopping you from putting yourself in that situation? It's you. It's you. If I had control, if let's say if I had control over you, and as I said, if I strip everything away from you, Numan, and I just give you a computer and a trading chart and a brokerage account, right? And I said, Numan, this is it, bro. There is no other way.
Then that's my life.
Start earning money this way. Make a life
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
I'm very sure in after certain tries, you will figure it out and you will have a life as a trader. You will
Yeah.
be surviving, not just surviving, excelling because that was the only thing, that's the only thing you have to do. There's nothing else.
I I guess then I should ask you this
Hmm.
question, right? Like I feel like it's worth exploring is, you know, how do you handle, well, not how do you handle, right? So okay, let me put it this way.
Hmm.
So we've talked about options and what the impact of options is.
Hmm.
Now we've narrowed it down to one option that is,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
all or nothing type, right? So, what I want to ask is like, how do you overcome the fear of the risk that is involved?
This is,
Right?
and
Like,
I kind of knew this question was coming. I was trying to answer this in my mind, Oman. That how, right? Like, and I
right.
see it really requires a killer person, bro. Like, going back to that Alex guy, the one who's climbing the mountain,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Man, do you, he, he just let me quickly Google one thing.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Alex Honnold then has, so that the example becomes more relevant.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so he's married. He has two kids.
Oof. And to still
Two,
do that.
imagine. So this is
Wow.
what we're talking about, Noman here, right? If he was to think of them very, too much, do you think he's ever able to do this?
I love that example, Ali. Do you know why I love that
Mm.
example? Because I recently watched this Formula One video. and it's a
Mhm.
side by, and so there so I just put this into your picture, and it's very like, it is so relevant to your example. I would consider it the exact opposite, and I feel like it might answer something here. So there are these two Formula drivers. This is back in the 90s, right, when
Mhm.
Formula 1 cars were like super powered, and they're racing down a straight and a turn is coming up,
Mhm.
and it's really a question of like, they're side by side, it's really a question of who breaks first, right?
Mhm.
The person who breaks first loses the lead, and the other person basically takes the lead.
Uh-huh.
And so this person on the right takes the lead, right, and the person on the left breaks first. So one of the interviewer asks the person, why did you break last, why didn't you break first? And the guy goes like, I know the other guy has a wife and two children. I don't.
Mhm.
That's why I break
That's-
last. And I knew he was gonna break first because he has something to go home to. Because
Mhm.
he knows, what the consequences are. For me, like, this is it. This is me. This is my life.
Mhm.
Right? There is no one else I have to take care of. So I went down and I break lost, and he won the race, by the way. I think that's what happened.
Mhm.
He won the race because of that one little difference. Sorry, it was just something that came to my
No,
mind
no,
as you.
bro. It says this is 100% on point, and then actually, not just this point. I feel even in the olden times, right?
Yeah.
This is what men did, bro. They would go away for example I'm just giving, when we didn't have cars and planes to come home the next day, people
Yeah.
would go away for months, leaving their wives and their kids, right, going into the
Uh-huh.
danger zone, not knowing. That's that's
Yeah.
that's how that's how the world was discovered too, right? People who went sailing discovered
Yeah.
new stuff. Did they knew they were going to come back to their families? No, this is what they had to deal with. They were like, I am letting this go for that's and that's courage. It takes it takes courage to do to do these
All
things
or nothing,
to
one
right.
way trips,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So because man, like, I really, if you could just google this for 1 second, Oman, just type in Alex Honnold has a wife. That's because that's exactly what I searched. And then of course the AI is going to give you a paragraph and a picture. I just want you to look at that picture for 1 second, if you can.
The picture of the wife.
No, no, when you search just on Google, Alex
Yeah.
Honnold has a wife. That's exactly what I searched, right?
Yeah.
It's going to give you an AI overview. And then
Yeah.
maybe there's a picture,
Yeah, with his kids, two kids, and
two
yeah,
kids in his
happy
hand.
family. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so Noman, this is, do you see what I'm trying to say?
I exactly. That's what. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Like, I'm just trying to
This,
put myself in
this is
his
what,
shoes.
but the
Right.
thing is, this is what it takes, Noman. This is, this is what it takes. This is what these are. Of course, this is a very extreme example of courage, right? But to each their own, right? We all are fighting our own extremes, right? Your extreme might be different than my extreme, but we all are fighting our own ceilings, right? Our own things in that sense. So this so this part of it, example, so many people have not seen success in life because they don't want to give up on their social life. Sometimes it's as simple as that. We're talking kids
Yeah.
and families. Sometimes you can't even give up on your social life. Sometimes you cannot even give up a burger and a bite of Sometimes you can't even give up French fries to be to be healthier, right? And we're
I
talking about and we're talking about this level. Can you even leave a dessert for like for some time? No, you can't. Like I suffer from this, right? So I'm just trying to think that wanting that thing and then giving it to that thing, two things cannot coexist like that.
No, there is no. Yeah. You're right. There's no coexistence. Ali, sort of like to bring it back to our
Mhm.
world. Just
Mhm.
everything
Mhm.
we've discussed, right? Um, I think a lot of people, myself included, right? Like,
Mhm.
I'm not excluding myself here, myself included, a lot of times we avoid the option that we should be taking is because we are afraid of losing. I know you said balance, but I think a
Mhm.
more modern term would be like
Mhm.
the safety of like income, right?
True,
Because
true.
you can't
Mhm.
do both, right? You can't have a
Of
job
course, of
and run a
course.
company on the side. And I've been down that road where I've said to myself many, many times that, I've started something now and it deserves all my time and attention. And I want to make it succeed. I don't want to give up on it. But then I am afraid of the fact that, well, what if it doesn't work out and I have no money left and I'm going to be homeless? Like, where am I going to go? Right? Because, who am I going to rely on? And I think about that so much every single time. And I keep telling myself that at some point in my life, I would have to go all in on something to make something out of myself, right? Either, and I remember this particular point where I said to myself that I can't like be on a seesaw, right? Like go up and down on these things. Like I have to
Mhm.
pick a side. Either I have a job and then be quiet for the rest of my life about entrepreneurship and whatnot, or I jump into entrepreneurship and be quiet about like losing incomes and whatnot, right?
Eh,
I can't do both, right?
I,
And
I, I,
yeah,
I feel like honestly, I feel, man. And sorry to sorry,
no,
maybe
no, go for it. Yeah,
please
go for it.
complete your thought first. Sorry, complete your thought.
It's my thought essentially is overcoming that fear, because I feel like it's for some people, especially people like me, it's not about the fear of committing to a choice, it's the fear of losing a very very basic safety net, right? It's
Mhm.
not even something grand, like I just want to make sure that I have a roof over my head and money in my bank account to feed myself. Like I'm not even asking for 3 meals a day. Like I
Mhm.
know the sacrifice it takes to build something, because it's not like you can't do this while waking up at 11 a.m. in the morning and then wrapping up at 2 p.m. It takes hours and hours of your life, and I know that it takes a lot of sacrifice, but I every single time I think about this, anytime I want to do something, is like, man, I don't want to lose my job over this if I'm sleeping
Mhm.
at 4 a.m. in the morning, right? And I struggle so hard to like overcome this. I don't know. You have thoughts on that, maybe?
Yeah, 100%. As you say this first, I felt at first when you said this, the money part, I felt,
Yeah.
man, I felt I was like, man, this is where things get, this is a no answer kind of place, or this is where things get very stuck. But as soon as I said that, I was like, that cannot be. There's an issue with planning, Ali. That's so I'm just telling you the entire conversation that happened in my mind. First, I gave in. I was like, man, that's such a valid point because money is something that holds us back always, right? But I'm like, maybe we're looking at this from a very small, like a pigeonhole kind of view. What if I was to
Okay.
look at the entire paper instead of just through a lens? Okay. So the point being that if you are really passionate about, uh, so example, let me put this in a scenario. Okay.
Okay.
You want to pursue something, but now you have a family. Okay.
Okay.
You have a responsibility. Okay,
Okay.
but you have a passion about something that you want to do, and that something needs to be done, and that is the fire in you, and you know that it's never going to go away. That thing needs to be attended to. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's just a scenario.
Okay.
Then what would your plan be? Not plan B, like how are you going to plan this? Maybe the plan could be that, okay, I know what needs to be done initially. Okay, I know I need to put these things at rest first. I need to secure house, kids, family. Okay, so maybe for the next 10 years, example, I have to be so good at my work and I have to save so much money that that once I bring these things to rest, I can go do my thing.
Can you
Example.
reword that
So
differently?
so let's say for a climber, or for let's take example of Alex. Okay. For
Okay.
this guy to buy the equipment for his climbs,
Mm-hmm.
how does he get those equipments for his climb?
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's okay. So
Yeah.
he has to
Okay.
he has
Okay. I'm connecting it. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So he has to first devote to something else that gives him the initial thing. He knows the end
Right.
goal. He knows the end
Yeah.
goal, right?
Yeah.
So focusing on the end goal is very important right now. That, okay, maybe even if it's not now, okay, if I really want this, and I know if it cannot happen right now, so what needs to happen now? Okay. So if for me to be able to do that thing later, do I, even at my job right now, instead of hating it, can, if I commit myself 5, 6 years and save to a point, because that's also part of sacrifice, right? Isn't it? Right? We're talking about sacrifices right now, right?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
this so this is also a sacrifice. This is not going against it. This is also a sacrifice for the bigger picture, because or else it doesn't work, right? Especially if you have responsibility and if you have people to take care of. You know that, hey, I need to figure this part out first, then only can I go to the next step. So for the next 5, 10 years, even though I'm working, I'm going to work. Even though I'm at a job, example, I'm going to keep working. but I am going to save to a point. I'm going to make sacrifices. I'm going to be smart about this to a point that I settle these things so that the other thing gets more time. And going back to another example of what I said, for a climber to have his equipment, how is he getting, other than some people get donation and stuff as well too, but let's say that thing doesn't exist. Like, let's be real. How does he buy his first equipment? He has to go work. He has to get in some other income first to buy this thing so that he can pursue the end goal thing, right?
To
Because
start the
we
journey,
to
basically,
start
yeah.
the journey, because we have what we have been doing. We're like, man, this thing is killing that thing, not understanding that this thing might could be the foundation of that thing. So what I have right now, I don't have to kill this. I just have to make it work in a way that in the very upcoming future, right? I can pursue. And how do I do that? By example, a person, and see how this changes the scenario. If you're unhappy doing what you're doing right now because you're not able to do what you need to do, then you spend your money on making yourself happy by doing very stupid things like drinking, going out, eating big, right? But if you know the purpose of what you're doing right now is for the other thing, then you are saving that money for the end goal. So it changes the process completely and outlook of it completely, right? Instead of being sad and unhappy, or going at a job and then finding happiness in whatever it may be, finding like drinking beers, going to strip clubs, or going for vacations unnecessarily, or spending on shopping. If you know the purpose of it, then would you?
So sacrifice is not local, it's global, right?
Yes, yeah. Sacrifice is not just towards like uh the
Like it affects every aspect of your life.
yes, yes. And you need to understand that what sacrifice, that even this thing that you're making is a sacrifice towards like, if you always keep the end goal in mind, okay, and have a proper design. Because that's what I think, I used the word plan before. Having a plan, having knowing what the making sure that what you're doing right now is going to help towards the end goal, right? And if you think of it this way, if I was to ask you this thing, Numan, that hey, you need 2 3 year example, you need 2 3 years of just downtime or your own time without having any distraction, without having any 9 to 6, and you feel you can make it work. How are you going to achieve this having a 9 to 5 right now? If I was to ask you, how would you do that?
There would have to be a lot of sacrifices.
Right? But you will
A
save,
lot of
save, save,
sacrifices.
save, right? You will
Yeah,
like,
crazy, like crazy.
but if you are really passionate about that scenario, then every sacrifice, you know why you did that.
So, do you think it's a marker that if someone is not sacrificing in other areas of their life, that they're not truly passionate about something?
I honestly, then this thing is always there. You like, then you don't want it enough, right? Uh, I remember like this is very like a very straightforward example. This guy asked this other guy to take his shirt off in front of a crowd. He does, and he said, and the guy says, man, I've been really uh I the guy who takes his shirt off right away says, man, I really don't want these love handles. Okay, the guy says, if you really didn't want it, you wouldn't have them. If you really didn't want it, you wouldn't have them. You would have done something about it. You would have started
Yeah.
doing everything in your power. Maybe you just don't want it. Maybe now that I've put you in a position where you have to take your shirt off in front of people, it suddenly came to you. Oh shit, right? I want, but if really, right? If you wanted, you would have. And this is what winners do. When they know what they want something, they move everything around them. They move everything around them in order to get that. Everything. Their life goes upside down. Everything goes berserk. But they know, I have to get this. That's the relentless mindset. That's the. I know we went a little bit away from the courage part, But this is
Mhm.
all that this is all that it's kind of building up to be. That, man, do you want it enough? And then if you want it enough, then how did you plan for it? You could want it, but if there's no plan for it, then you don't want it enough. That's it. It's actually it's very sometimes it's very sometimes it's very simple. So sorry, going back to the point, I feel that to answer your that money, to kind of go back to trying to answer that money part, could be that maybe you can look at it from a completely different perspective. That what is the purpose of my job right now, right? What is the purpose of my income right now, even though it's not the income, that it's not the way that I want to, but what is, can this thing be repurposed for my end goal? And I as I'm saying this, I really feel it can be.
I want to play devil's advocate for a
Say,
second.
please say, yeah. That's important.
I like, okay, I think it's important that I make this point first that, I 100% agree with you on making sacrifices. And
Hmm.
I think, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it's one of the reasons why I asked you uh,
Hmm.
that if you're not making sacrifices in other areas of your life, then does that mean you're not passionate about something,
Hmm.
right? So let's just sort of thinking about the money aspect, right? In
Okay.
in today's world where we live right now, things are extremely expensive, right? No matter
Hmm.
how much you sacrifice, how much you try to save, life is just so expensive. And given that incomes are not, what they used to be, right? In relation to how much things cost, no amount of sacrifice can give you that safety net to sort of like pursue your dreams and your goals. Like as an example,
Hmm.
I was thinking about this. I even made a post about this just a little while back, Ali. I was talking to some people about this, and it's a particular case where this guy has a $2,000 a month rental, and that's
Hmm.
the cheapest that he can find. And he's been trying to save money aggressively, and I mean aggressively to the point where he's eating one meal a day, right? And trying to start his business, trying to start his little passion. It's not even a little passion project. Like he's been obsessed about it for many, many years, and I know this because he's shown me the diagrams, he's shown me all the little, work that he's put into on paper and how he wants to execute it. And I keep telling him that, you have all of this information, you have everything ready to go. You just need to, like, quit your job and just do this. And the only thing this guy says to me is that if I do that, I have less than 6 months to make this work. And that is
Hmm.
assuming everything goes right,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And the second he said that, I was at a complete loss for words. And I didn't want to say something like, well, if you truly truly believe in this one, you could try and find a way to, maybe borrow some money after the 6 months to stretch it a bit more if it needs more time, because sometimes things do need more time to succeed, right? You remember that conversation we had about your ads repay, where you
Hmm.
said for a year you were just making 10 cents a day. Now imagine
Hmm.
if you did not have a job, like, you think you'd be able to survive and pay rent in, like, Vancouver or wherever we're living right now? Highly improbable, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think that's a challenge many people like fail to overcome. So if we are to take that into account based on what you have discussed, right, is there something like you'd have to, you could offer on that, like a counterpoint to that?
I would just
Just
say, like, the like, see, the 1% a day, again, the 1% a day strategy, right? Like, again, I'm saying that, and honestly, first let me come to exactly the situation that you spoke about. It's so
Mhm.
true in today's time, right? It's
Right.
so true, right? Like,
Yeah.
how how and sometimes I put that situation on myself too. I'm like, man, even when I'm advising this or suggesting this or saying this, right? I do remember my own days, right, where
Yeah.
it was paycheck. It's not even living paycheck to paycheck. It was living in credit, right?
Yeah.
Paychecks were just to kind of match up the minimum payments, just because life was so expensive, life was so this, life was so that. But at the same time, I'm thinking that when we talk about sacrifice, are we really taking the word sacrifice lightly? That's what I'm thinking right now. That am I talking about sacrifice very superficially in this sense right now? And let me and again, let's say the guy's scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you said, is that guy? Let me and I'm just gonna put some questions out there. Okay,
Sure, sure. Go for it. Yeah, yeah. I'll answer them.
the
Yeah.
the the guy still eats 3 meals a day,
You mean like as in no, no,
living
one
wise.
meal a day.
Yeah,
One
what I
meal a
mean,
day.
okay. That's already the one of the bigger sacrifices, I would say, right? Having a
Right?
meal
Yeah.
a day, right? But I'm like,
Mm.
then honestly, it's a very tough one, right? Like,
Isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, because he's already at 1 meal a day. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what are you expecting out of him to even go homeless, right?
Exactly.
Just to
Right? Like,
right? To start living on the street. But if he starts living on the street, then how does he go to work the next morning
right. Exactly.
to bring
And
that?
that
Mhm.
yeah.
Sorry, go
And see, this is the thing, Ali. Right? Like, because it's even if we take sacrifice out of the equation, right? Like what bothers me most about this situation or just like scenario
ahead.
like this is that this isn't an isolated thing. There's millions of people like this. But the fact that, just looking at this person's face, the amount of passion they have for their project, right? And, as someone who has worked as a marketer for almost a decade now,
Mhm.
I know what it takes to make something succeed. I know how much work goes in there, how much,
Mhm.
how many subscriptions you need to get. Because you don't
Mhm.
just launch a website and call it
Yeah,
a
yeah.
day,
Uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh.
Like there's money to be spent nonstop. You're buying ads, you're advertising, you're talking about like internet. It just keeps adding up. And I keep telling myself that here is a person, right, who is far more courageous than I will ever be, right?
Mhm.
And he's already making the sacrifices and it is still not working for him, right? And he knows this, but he is still trying to figure out a way to do this. And like how do how do you even answer that question then?
It's honestly like, I'm trying to, because I was thinking that what can you cut, right? But again,
Exactly. What can you
you
cut?
went from three to, but what if even at the bare minimum there's
Yeah,
there's there's an issue, right? So it's
exactly, right?
because it's also very difficult, right, to build a long-term vision from a survival mode, right?
Yeah.
When you're stressed out about food, rent, and basic security, how would you, how would one, right? How would one think of it,
uh,
those things when you're concerned about these things, right? Like, where do you even find the time? You're concerned about, yeah, and we're talking the very basics. We're not even talking about like accidents of life. Sometimes your health goes up and down,
oh
right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
need, what about your medical insurances? What about just having a high speed internet because you need to get things done, right? Like, how low can you go? And then the thing is, once you start going low, right, your mind starts going low too, right? When you're
It
low, your
does,
mind
yeah.
go in, and then that's it. You're stuck in that low zone, right? The like because people say because so like people would say, even when I was low, I was always used to think big, right?
Hmm.
But that's not an easy task to do,
No, it
because you
is
think,
not.
right? Like,
Absolutely not.
you're seeing that if I should buy a 79 cents noodle, or like a or 69-cent noodle, right? Example, and you're saying that. So no, playing devil's advocate, I think it's because this is the reality of the life that we live in. How come
Yeah.
how come everybody in poverty or on the streets, right, is uh who says that I want to make it, but then they have the reasons, right? Go like, man, you say make it, but I don't have a place to shower. I don't have a place to, how am I supposed to make it, right?
Hmm.
Like, I want to. Let's say if they have a change of mind or change of heart, right? How, right? And the crazy part is, there is a small percentage that still make it, but there's a majority that don't make it. And then what's the difference? Why was this guy and why wasn't that guy able to make it? That's what I'm kind of thinking right now, because there are stories of people who have also made it through that time, right? Then what was their way of making it then?
It's eh, look, I want to say
Mhm.
luck, but I avoid
Mhm.
using the word luck, right? Like I feel like, luck is just a byproduct of preparation, right?
Hmm.
So I avoid using the luck. But Ali, just what you've said, let's take this example of a person who is, I'm not saying like they're like absolutely in poverty, but similar scenario that it's all about survival. Life is just
Uh-huh.
about survival, right? And for this person, the options are basically limited to two, right?
Mhm.
Either I do this and make something of myself, or I continue living the way I live, which is basically not in existence. This person basically, and it's not difficult to figure out which is the better of two choices from the outside, right? If you and
Mhm.
I were looking at someone that has been is stuck in a difficult position and they've been presented these two choices, you'd say like, well, you already know what the original choice is because that's your life every single day, and it's going to be the same for the rest of your life because nothing changes if nothing changes. So
Mhm.
you have
Mhm.
to take the second choice, but they still don't do it, right? So the question comes down to, well, what is the mindset there then, right? What's stopping them then, uh, now? Like, what's there to lose anymore? Because there's nothing to gain on the other side. I guess the only gain is continued existence in misery, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's, you see where I'm going with this, like, because I loved your approach about options and narrowing it down. And I
Mhm.
feel like,
Mhm.
playing devil's advocate is something we should practice more often because it helps us better understand our own
Mhm.
thinking and to see like if we explored it properly. But just what I've said, like how does that hit resonate in your head? Like, how does that make you feel?
It's honestly, it's like it just kind of makes me think of the delayed gratification part a little bit more.
Yeah,
Kind of brings that
yeah.
topic in that it's it's harder when you know that things instead of 1 year are going to take 11 years. It's
Oof.
a very
Yeah.
very tough pill to
Just
swallow,
as
right?
you said
Very.
it, like my heart
Right.
sank a bit.
Right. So
Yeah.
and the thing is the reality of sometimes things in life is like this, and that's where honestly that's where this idea of the universe or the divine or the fate that good things come when you look for good things, that's where these ideas I think uh, take birth, to be honest with you, because
Hmm.
without hope we are nothing, right? If you take the hope away, take example, if with that guy, if you tomorrow take his hope away, hey bro, of course there's no way out, you're done. What do you think
Yeah.
happens?
You
What do you think
completely
happens?
broken the person.
Right? What is he living on? Or what can you give him? Is hope, right?
Yeah, pretty
Right?
much.
And the thing is that I really like this. Of course, and I completely understand the thing that we're talking about, right? I feel it in my bones when you say these things, because it's such a reality, right? It's but at the same time, this is the I feel this is the fight. This is the
I
fight
agree.
of, right. If you accepted it, right, then you're right. Then you're right. The idea is not to accept it. Don't accept it.
Yeah,
Think
I
of
agree.
every excuse in your mind to not accept it. Go like, man, I never know. Even if I like, even do the math of saving $1 a day for the next 11 years and see how many dollars you have. Example. Think of that, man. Believe, whatever you have to do, bro. Believe, start believing in miracles. There's, I don't know, tomorrow I might just come across somebody who might give me this opportunity. Tomorrow I might come across some information that might change my world.
Hmm.
Tomorrow I might come across somebody who might change my, or tomorrow I might find something on the street that might change my, bro. If you don't have hope, right, then you have nothing. So this kind of brings back things so much in perspective that people say two very basic things. Like we spoke about courage today, but hope is as important as that, Noman. Huh? Like courage and hope. These are people we've always thought these are just like very generic words people use towards things. But when you look into the depth
No,
of
no.
things, these are no joke words, man. Like without hope, you are nothing, and without courage, you are nothing. Right? You have to hope, like, or else I'm just trying to think. I don't have an answer for that guy, Noman. If it's not for hope, right? Then there is no answer for that guy other than
No, you're absolutely right. There is no answer. And And that's, when I was having this conversation with him, just like you jumped onto hope, that
Hmm.
is the same thing I jumped on, but I was afraid to say it because I felt like it might be insulting, right?
Hmm.
Like telling someone that is in a difficult position, well, have hope, bro. Like,
Hmm.
you can make,
True,
because it
true.
feels it feels like, saying something for the sake of saying it, right? I tend to avoid that, but no, you're absolutely right on this one, right? Like, what else is there left now, right? Y- That's it. You just gotta hope that it somehow works out. It's that aspect of like you have to be a little delusional sometimes, right?
True, but honestly, even in success, even in loss, you have to be like you
A
have
little
because
delusional.
yeah, delusion because you don't know what's the what's the way, what's not the way. Like sometimes you do like even as like I'm just trying to think even as students, like we were in situations where we did not have money for a semester or even sometimes to buy a subway that day, right? But there's
Mm,
sometimes things were that gloomy. You know it,
I
right?
know.
Things
I
things
remember
were
those
that
days.
gloomy,
Yeah.
and then that time you were just calling everybody anything to make it work. Sometimes it would work out, sometimes, and you were all like we were always blessed that something always came about, right? A random job, a graveyard shift, or whatever the
Yeah.
case might be. It
Yeah.
was hard, but then, but also you should know that the, the opportunity that you got, two people called for it, and you got it. The
Mm,
other one didn't.
yeah.
What's his story now, right? What's his story now? What is he supposed to do, right? Maybe he was in the same situation as you. He needed as bad as you, but you two called and you got it this time. So how is he dealing with that? Or in the other scenario, he got it, you didn't. Now how are you dealing with this now? Right? But does that mean you stop trying? Or does that mean you lose hope? Because again, as I'm saying this, I'm having a very hard time, honestly, kind of justifying it because I know that when things are a certain way, how, and people say this, you go like, man, so easy for you to say. You're not in my shoes to know or to feel, right? But the outside person is always telling him the same thing that, bro, have have hope, have faith, keep working hard, keep doing it, keep working hard. Never, uh, do more that you can do. And person like, man, I'm doing more than like, what do you want me to do now? Stop sleeping, right? And sometimes I try to do that, but I do fall asleep. I'm human, right? I try to stay hungry, but I do want to eat, right? So how it's not it's a mind-boggling one, right? And this is what I think a lot of talks and conversations lack is this part of the equation that everything is explainable. You feel you can explain everything, but there are certain aspects that are very hard to explain or justify. Or not every solution is as easy. Not every situation has an such an
Solution.
easy solution, right?
Yeah.
Some solutions are not there at the present. They might, I think, see, even when I see this, I'm still talking about hope, right? Or you might, maybe you cannot see it now, but you might start seeing it very soon, right? Something might come about, but that's the life but that's,
I I I was thinking that, I'm trying to put well, I don't have to put myself. I've been in these positions before,
mm,
right? Where you are, because I remember like starting businesses back in the day, especially around COVID time. Like COVID was, you either made it in COVID or you did not. And I know a lot of people made it during the COVID period,
mhm.
and a lot of people lost a lot of money, and they went into debt, and just didn't work out. The timing was just bad, right? It didn't necessarily mean the idea was bad, but it was a circumstance beyond anybody's control. There's nothing you could do about it, right? You don't control what was going to happen. And I remember very, very particularly, Ali, I had this very, very small idea during COVID time, right? And I was trying to pursue it aggressively, and um, it failed miserably. It cost me a lot of money, and I still wanted to do it again, right? And I was asking myself that, knowing how badly it failed and what it cost me, the damage that it has done, which would take me time, quite a bit of time to recover. And this is the realism. This is the truth about being an entrepreneur, is that not everything works out, and sometimes it really slaps you in the face. And I remember the words I said to myself. So you might be able to pick this apart. I need to find the courage to believe that it will work out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I kept telling myself that I need to find the courage to believe that things will work out for me. Because at that point, I'd just given up hope on life. I was, because I had immigration issues, because I was worried about, like, well, how am I gonna meet my immigration requirements? That was one issue. Then there were other issues about, like, maintaining a job, and it just kept adding up and adding up. And I wanted to be my own person, and everything was falling apart. The world was burning. It's just like, what do I do, right? Like, it was so overwhelming, to the point where, like, the things that I used to enjoy, I started to hate them. I
Mm-hmm.
just did not want to look at them. And I remember, like, I woke up one day after, like, what must have been like weeks of, like, wallowing in self pity, and blaming everybody, blaming the universe, blaming God, and blaming myself for not, being something that I didn't even know what I needed to be. All I said to myself in the end was that I just need to find the courage to believe that things will work out for me. And I may not have believed it 100% back then, but as time went by and I kept telling myself that I need to have courage to believe that things will work out, things slowly started to work out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I came out of it. I'm not saying I came out, like a king, right?
Mm-hmm.
My 5 Bentleys are parked outside. No, that's not how I came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I came out, you know, all majority of my problems that I was, like, terrified of disappeared. My problem set has become much, much smaller than what it was, and I have been able to grow and mature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that as we discuss this, as you were saying, as you were explaining your thinking to me, I keep telling myself, in situations now, or sorry, not situations, but in ideas that I'm trying to pursue now, why can't I go and find that same mindset, right? Or that same courage that convinced me to keep pushing and not give up on everything, to keep believing in myself, to keep telling myself that, you can figure it out. You don't have to figure it out today. You don't have to figure it out next week. Start really, really small. Start very, very small, but you will figure it out. And I am struggling to sort of, like, replicate that now in my life. And the reason is, as you eloquently put it, because of options. Because I
Mm-hmm.
have more options now than I
Options.
had
Uh-huh.
back then. Because I lost all my options, right? I literally
Mm-hmm.
burned every bridge. And once the bridges were burned, I basically called the United States of America and said, can you nuke this land now?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to go back. I
Mm-hmm.
was left with one option: do or die.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. But now I don't have that, right? Now I can, I know I have a stellar resume. I can,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of phone calls I get when people want to hire me, like, not a flex, but all of that has spoiled me. And I miss that, Ali. Like, I don't even know if me saying this right now is a good thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I miss that version of Noman that literally said, you know what, fuck you. I'm gonna figure this shit out. Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna do this. I am gonna come out. And I did. And I want that back. Like, I want that back, and I cannot get it. Like, I cannot find it. Do you ever find yourself, like, looking at some aspect of you in the past? Like, I know you also had a similar-ish journey, right? I
Mm-hmm.
remember, like, your struggles, which you shared with me, from your issues with, like, I know you and I also both had debt issues. We talked about a lot back in the day, right? And how we overcame over or were able to overcome that, and we explored many of these avenues. Do you ever find yourself, like, missing that person?
I honestly I like where you said that it's not. I don't know if it's a good thing for me to say that, right? I'm trying
Mhm.
to distance myself from that. From not distance myself. That's not the right way. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna pause for 1 second, Oman. I'm still slightly stuck on that previous topic about
Let's
the
go back.
like the
Yeah.
heart. I just feel that being realistic, because I'm really personalizing that guy's situation, the one that you
Go for
mentioned,
it. Go
right?
for it. Yeah, yeah, no, go for it. Yeah.
I feel that that is the point where you have to reshape your reality, or like you have to get realistic about things. Okay, that you know that you know that I considering your situation, example, right? And I'm talking about these extreme dire situations. Okay, you know that it's not gonna be one, two, three, four, five. Okay, steps wise, I'm saying you understand it might be 1.1, 1.2, or even 1.01, 1.02 of growth level of escaping from where you are right now, right? So then, like, I'm just trying to put the power of plan into place right now, that if you re-strategize considering the resources and the things that you have with you, and again, one can argue, but I have nothing. But from within that nothing, even nothing is something. Like, I'm not trying to be philosophical over here, but even having like even like just getting very realistic about the thing that it's not that, man, right now I'm earning, example, uh, 1500. Okay, I know that according to my skills and maybe I cannot go to 2000. Maybe I just need to focus on making it 1550 or 1510, right? Just that very small increment, just that very small increment that allows me to save that extra one or two. So I'm just what I'm trying to put forth is that situational analysis and expectation matching and reality matching is what's required at that. I would imagine what would be required at that point in time, just because you know that everything is not might not be in your favor right now, right? But again, that there's no way that one can say just, but there's no acceptance of it. You cannot accept it. If you accept it, it's done, right? So if you're not accepting it, then what? Then what? Then maybe you just need to clarify, or think of things in very small increments, very small increments. You might not see the result in a year. You might see it in, again, that 1 to 11 years or 1 to 20 years, right? But what does that do for you? That helps you keep going. That helps the goal is still, and who knows, within that time you might be able to plan better, do better. So the point that I'm trying to make is that maybe it really requires a plan very tailored for the reality that you are in. That might be a solution. Because in my mind, I'm just trying to. I'm thinking as if that guy's having this conversation with me right now, right? And I'm trying to solve this for that guy. And this is one thing that I like to do. I like to solve
Right.
situations for
So
some.
so let
Yeah.
me let me role play it then with you, right? Like now I'm gonna pretend to be that guy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You've given me this idea, right? So one of the biggest challenges would be being logical enough
Mm-hmm.
to do those things, because
Mm-hmm.
when you are in such a difficult position, right, your mindset or your mind isn't as strong as most people would imagine, because when you're sitting on the outside looking on the inside of somebody else, it's a very different perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this person would just sit there and they're probably ruminating about their problems. And especially the fact that if you were to tell someone that, look, I know you want to do this in 2 to 3 years, but maybe you need to start thinking 11 to 15 years given your
Mm-hmm.
current situation,
Mm-hmm.
because this way at least you can tell yourself that I am going to keep going no
Mm-hmm.
matter what, right? And I know this person said 11 to 15, maybe I can do it in 7 to 8, or maybe I can do it in 5 to
Mm-hmm.
6. Sure, all of that sounds
Uh-huh.
amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact is believing in that,
Mm-hmm.
right? The fact is committing to that. And I don't think people that are in such difficult or dire situations would find that very easy to digest,
True.
because they
Very
would
true.
rather see it as patronizing them than
Mm-hmm.
offering them an actual solution. Because this is one thing that I've noticed with, and rightly so, I've noticed with a lot of people in these situations, because when I have this habit of, like, reaching out to people or like volunteering, and they tell me their problems, and I've noticed a lot is that they don't see the world as people that are better off than them. They see it very, very
Hundred
differently.
hundred percent, bro. 100%. And that's what. And I think even you telling your problem to somebody, right?
Mm.
Even having the mind, knowing that.
Yeah.
Because whom am I sharing this with, right? Is this like, because sometimes people share problems with somebody in order to get, in order for them to help them out, right? But like, hey, maybe I'm going to share this example. Maybe I'm going to share this issue with Noman, and maybe Noman's like, you know what, bro, I have access. I can give you some. I have this work. I can give you some, right? Because there are people like that who share people with who share their problem with people just with the idea that who knows, maybe the guy that I'm sharing it with, they might be able to help me out, right? For some, it's advice. For some, it's directly resource, right? I've seen this happen in life, that I've seen, like at my dad's level, I've seen that people have come share a problem with him, and he's like, you know what? I can help you with this. You know, I have this work. Why don't you come do this? Right? Just give it. Might not be the thing that they wanted, but the core idea was you're looking for some extra something, right? Maybe I can. Oh, maybe I know somebody. But and like these beauties are very difficult to convey to a person who's living in that darkness, right? But that's what. But I think we, and this is the worst thing that we can do. To be honest with you, like now that I'm saying this, that the counselor cannot never become the counseled, right? You can never become the counsel. You have to always be the counselor, because if you become that, then it's two people of the same mind talking, right? You are trying to pull them out, not trying to, like, of course, you live in their shoes in order to fit, like, but you always have to look inside, like, you have to look through their problem, not become like, because imagine a counselor becoming the same mindset as the one he's counseling. Then there are two, two people not solving a problem, two people just discussing a problem,
Right.
right? So this like I like it's hard to like, because right now what we're trying to do, we're trying to think everything from that perspective, right?
Yeah.
But when we are see and but see what's happening as well, that we are seeing them stuck, but we're not seeing ourselves stuck,
Yeah.
right? You see the difference, right?
I
when
do.
you
I
go
do. Yeah.
when you go into their body, you can see them stuck, but when you are in your body seeing them, you don't feel they're stuck,
Yeah.
right? And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to
Yeah.
bring them to this side, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard, it's going to be very tough, right? But you can never go that side. that's the
Right.
that's
Because you're
that's
trying to make them accept a perspective that is,
Mhm,
different from theirs because they're married to a
mhm,
perspective and you want to avoid that.
mm,
Right.
mm,
I like this, Ali. This was a very good this is a very good way to phrase it. And see, this is the challenge with it, right? Now you're trying to essentially force them to
mhm,
see your perspective. And the challenge then becomes is that a lot of these people shouldn't say it that way, but a lot of people in these situations, they have sort of an opinion of like, how quickly they want to achieve something because it's about speed, right? Like
mhm,
if someone's in a difficult position, they want to get out as quickly as possible, right? And you
mhm,
tell this person, listen, man, I know you want to, right? But given the situation, given the limitations that exist right now, this is not something that you can finish at light speed. Like it's
mhm,
just not realistic. Like there is like unless you win the lottery tomorrow, like it's not changing, right?
mhm, mhm,
And and these people and people will not accept that. Like if and I know I have been in that position where I've sought advice and someone said to me, well, you're looking at a 5-year window, and I looked at that person, 5 years, are you crazy, man? I'm not going to do this for 5 years. Like
mhm,
there's no way I'm doing this for 5 years. And he really and he really helped me put something into perspective that day. I remember when I wanted to buy a car, Ali, right?
mhm,
And I had some money to put down, and I think I was short, not a lot, but I was short some amount of money. And this person suggested, listen, uh, put your money down, not all of it, and then you can then pay off for the next.
mhm,
You get like a 5-year payment plan or something,
mhm,
and you have some money already saved up. You can use it and you can pay it off for 5 years. Like, no, bro, I don't want to pay something for 5 years. Like, what are you
mhm,
talking about? Like,
mhm,
I want to do it tomorrow. Give me the 1 year number. Like, I'll do
mhm,
1 year.
mhm,
I don't want this on my head. And the person looked at me and said, literally, he's like, look, I'll do whatever you want.
mhm,
But I'm going to tell you one thing, that you are
mhm,
not realistic about life. And I was insulted that day. And I said to him, what do you
mhm,
mean I'm
mhm,
not, realistic about life? He's like, well, when you go buy a house tomorrow, right,
mhm,
in Vancouver, what's the mortgage time?
mhm, mhm.
And do you know what I said to
Really?
him?
Mhm,
I said to him, bro, I'm not getting a mortgage. I'm gonna buy a house with my own money. Like, think cash.
Listen.
And he said to me, like, do you think that's realistic? And all I could say to him is like, "Oh, bro, just watch me. I'm gonna do it." Like I was like flexing, fucking James Bond had just showed up wearing
And the
a
thing is,
Brioni suit.
even if it is realistic, would you want to do that? That's
Again,
another part of
yes,
it, right? Like,
that's the other part of it. Would you want to do that, right? It's
why would you tie up $4 or $5 million of your, of your,
cash
so like,
in one
in
asset.
yeah, in one asset, especially if you know you can grow this way, do this thing, do that thing, whatever the case in point. But this also brings in the part that if this unrealistic thinking part, I would still say, like, the one thing I would still say is that yes, I will have that money. I would not put it like this, but I know I'm going to have that money. But if I wanted to, I could. This is the delusion, not the delusion, but the dream. Like, hey, uh, like
The
if I wanted
luxury.
to, the luxury. If I want, bro, I'm going to be at a point where I wanted to, I could, and if I want to, then I would. Nothing is like this thing I've seen in some people who really just know that they will have money. They don't go into the scarcity mindset. Oh, what if this goes and I need to save for that? Fuck it, bro. This is this. Because there are people who buy cars right out, right? People who buy Rolls Royce, Ferraris, this, that, right out, right? Hey, this is the cost of the car. Give it to me. I want this now. This thing, this watch. Not necessarily even talk about watches, no man. Watches, right? There are
Uh,
$200,000-300,000 watches people buy right out.
yeah, yeah,
I want this watch. They're not thinking, oh, this could be, because this process of thinking puts them in a place where they don't want to be, right? This, oh, I need to. Then they're telling something to themselves that they have not, that they're not trying to, that narration, that voice in their mind, they don't want that. That, bro, what if they're not, they don't want the what ifs to come, and whatever it takes to disprove that what if point, this is what they try to do, right? Hey, I'll prove that voice wrong. Here, take it. I know I will have more. I know I will. And again, what does that do? Let's coming back to the options part, right? What does that do to you, Noman? Example, you you had 200 sitting with you, okay, and you bought something, everything from it. What part, which Numan did that bring out again? Because you have nothing again,
yeah.
right? You went back to, you
That
still in
old,
that the
yeah,
fire zone, right? Like,
the
again, in
fire,
that zone
yeah,
where you, again, because no other, again, the courage again, because even that thing took courage, right? To give, to buy,
yeah.
right
To
out.
buy, yeah,
If not, then again, what are you doing? You are practicing options. Oh, I'm going to do this thing, so I have that option. And what if this comes up? And what if this comes up? And what? This is how life will always be, right? What ifs and what ifs and what ifs and what if this and what if that. I'm not saying be irresponsible, right? But I'm saying don't play this game too much, right? Because if you believe, if you've done it before, you will do it again,
yeah.
right? Put and this self-image thing too, right? Man, whenever I'm put in a situation, I make it happen because I and be true, okay? When you had a lot of money sitting with you and life became comfortable, what happened, Omar? To a lot of projects and to a lot of things that could have been done the same day, and
They they
uh,
went to bed, bro.
they went
They
to bed.
went to bed. They were
Practice
never
time
looked at again.
practice time became 1 year instead of execution time
Yeah,
becoming the next day. Happened
yeah.
or didn't happen?
100%, 100%. Like we keep coming back to these options, right? Like the idea of options. And
uh-huh, uh,
no, I mean it really is all about being decisive at the end of the day, right? You make a decision, tune out the noise, and you go all in,
listen.
right? And I feel, as valuable as this advice is, uh, and it is very, very valuable. One of the reasons why I gave this example that I gave Ali,
Mhm.
right, is because I, I, I wanted it to be realistic to the point where like we could actually assess it from the
Mhm.
perspective of someone that is in a difficult position. And I'm glad
Mhm.
we did that because
Yeah, true,
it's
true.
really helped me explore quite a few things here. And uh, would you agree with me when I sort of like ask, well, not ask you, or if I make this statement that if you're committing to, if you're committing your life to an endeavor, right? It has to be something that you are willing to die for.
I honestly, uh, yeah, something that you're willing to get, like, yeah, when you say die for, I know what you mean, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, I would like, or else, or else you would not be able to sustain or pursue it for such a long time, right? And we think of this thing as a very narrow, like, if you're if you have decided that I want to have a good life, example,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay, that I want to have a good life, a traveling life, a this life, like, let's say if you've decided that, hey, I want to travel a lot in my life, this is my life, I want to see the world, okay,
Right,
then you will do, your plans in doing things will be according to it, and you should have the realistic understanding of it. Just because I want to see the world, I want to travel all the time, I should give up my expectations of make that list, right? Because
right,
that life is very different from a person who is living in one city, who has decided that I'm going to make it in this city and this city only,
right.
right? His life, his assets, his allocations, his accumulation is very different from a person who's thinking that, man, I'm going to live a life completely of travel,
Right.
right? So expectations according to the life that you want is very, very, very important. If you tell me that you're going to travel the world, but you tell me that, hey, I want to have these cars and this, where are you keeping them, bro? You're a traveler,
Yeah.
right? Again, two identities, right? Two separate things you're wanting that don't mix at all, right? So I want to be a traveler, but but I don't like sleeping in other people's beds, bro. How how are you gonna take your bed with you everywhere, right? So you see, like, I know it's a weird example, but you see the point that I'm trying to make, right? Like,
No, I see. I 100% see your point. Like I know exactly what you're trying to preach here, and yes, it's being realistic, right? You
yes,
have to
really,
be realistic. You
uh-huh.
have to be realistic, and which is it's the irony here is that we talk about being a little delusional, and then we also talk about being realistic at the
Realistic.
same time.
Mhm.
You
It's
see
crazy. Yeah, I know. It's
the
it's it's it's
juxtaposition.
yeah.
So it's I I this is what makes it all difficult, right? The complexity is not in all the knowledge and all these sort of like experiences and options and whatnot. I think the complexity is on the inside of the person, right? And and it comes from how they're able to process what's in front of them. Someone that is not able to process the situation, or I should like sort of sum it up as in one word, the reality in front of them, right? If they cannot accurate, like if they're wearing rose colored glasses, as they say, and
Mhm.
you're trying to process reality, then you are you're disrespecting it. And I don't think you're going to succeed, right? But I think someone that still has that level of maturity inside of them, has that level of a good balance between delusion and being realistic, they're the ones that are going to succeed the most, right? Because you
Mm.
can't be 100% realistic and expect that you're going to succeed. Because if you're 100% realistic, you are immediately limiting your options and you are not going to take risks, right?
Mhm.
That's my belief with this one. And that's where delusion comes in, because delusion tells you like, jump, see what happens, right? Like that's what delusion does. and or like delusion is something that will tell you like stick your finger in it, see what happens. Right? Because
Mm.
I know I have been in positions where the realistic part of me has said, no man, don't do that, that's just stupid, that's not a good idea. But the delusional part in me has said like, do it and find out what happens once and for all. And then you finally give
Mm.
into that voice and it works out. It's like, huh, that wasn't that bad, right? And sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it slaps you right like in the face and you're like, okay, I should not have done that. So like you said, it's a balance of
It's a
things.
balance, and it's like the flip flop between identities and wanting something new every other day is honestly the worst thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it
something,
is.
and again, all this social media, the people around you, it's all designed to kind of do that to you. To be honest with you, there are people that I know of that are so content, okay, of what they have, right, of things. So even let me ask you this, right? Knowing how blessed you are, okay, don't you have to find being content? You don't you have to remind yourself, hey, calm down.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, oh my god, Ali,
look
yes.
around you, look
Oh
around
my
you. So
god.
what part of you is doing that to you? Because that is an issue. To be honest
Yeah,
with you,
yeah,
that part is an issue. Why can't you have it all and still be at peace?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
mashallah, you have it all,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you're still not at peace. You always wanting the more and the bigger and the more. The new challenge is who has told you this, that this is the way it's supposed to be?
yeah.
Or are you messing with are you yourself messing with you to
See, yeah.
like, 'cause you example, you earn $300 today, right? Why isn't that enough for you? Why are you looking? Why are you unhappy after 3 4 months going like my 300 has not increased to 500 yet? It should be 500. Who has told you that? Isn't is there something that is not being fulfilled right now, and is that thing actually going to solve that fulfillment? Be real, because I see like this constant identity shift really causes you have to remind yourself of things
Mm-hmm.
continuously, right? All that good that had happened yesterday, why isn't that in front of you all the time? Why?
This is one of the reasons, like, people like me, we practice being grateful. Like, I
Mhm.
am grateful for this. And I know the impact of it, right? And I being content is a very difficult thing in today's world, because there's always something new. There's always something new to chase, always, right? And it almost always feels like things are slipping away from your hands when you have it all still,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because something is always there to replace it, always. And I think that's one of the biggest problems of living in the times that we live in. And you're absolutely right. Like, where is that voice? What is that voice? That's telling you that chase more, or be content with
Yeah.
what you have, or chase
Chase
more,
more,
or be
chase more,
content.
chase more. Start this thing,
Constantly.
do this thing now.
Yeah.
Start this thing, or start. What about this? What about that? What about this? Like, uh, come on, guy, right? Live.
Maybe
Uh huh.
just my this might be a digression, Ali, but maybe just because I'm very fascinated by this. I think, just off the top of my head, I think like the in just I'm strictly speaking from myself. I find that the reason, and I know I'm not content with life, like I'm not gonna deny it, like I am absolutely not content. And I feel like one of the, or at least the reason why I think that I'm not content is because I am not doing something that gives me purpose, or at least the purpose that I want from life, or what I think is my purpose in life, right? I think that is why I am not content, because you and I have talked about this a lot. Like, there was a point where all we talked about was money and businesses and whatnot, and then you noticed how our conversations, or at least I noticed how our conversations gradually shifted towards helping people, right? Like, I want to teach people stuff that I have learned. I want to share my knowledge. I want to discuss things with
But
them.
I also want to profit from it.
but I also want profit from it. Yes,
No,
but I
yeah,
also,
true, right?
but it's not it. I don't see that as a negative, because like
Uh-huh.
you can't do everything for free, because you have to be able to sustain it, right?
Uh-huh.
You
But then the profit never cease to you always want to keep increasing that profit.
yeah, that's the nature of the game at the end of the day,
Mm.
right? Like even a good has a price,
Yeah, true. So this
right?
is the thing. Like, let's say if you say that contentment life, okay, this is just a scenario play out. You
Okay.
are doing such charitable work. You are just helping out people, and you have a very decent very decent life. Nothing too good, nothing too shabby. Decent, average life, right? But at the
Mhm.
same time, you devote so much time helping people out, da 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 da, this, that, everything of that sort. Okay. And then, of course, you have kids and you have families, and then, of course, you provide to them according to what you have, right?
Mhm.
But then you yourself feel so content with
Mhm.
those things. Then I come to meet my old friend. Okay. And I come in a dashing car with
Mhm.
dashing clothes with big pockets, right? And we talk about kids' school and we talk about wives, we talk about trips, we talk about this, right? And of course,
Mhm.
your conversation and my conversation are very different,
Yeah, two
very
different
different.
worlds.
Till the time it's contained to you and I, it's okay. But when we involve other people, the people that we support in the conversation, it changes.
Yeah,
You
hundred
feel,
percent.
right? You might feel that, hey, uh, you know, uh, hmm, it changes, right?
The power
When it
balance
go,
shifts.
yeah, the power balance, and when it's
Power
only
balance
about
shifts
you, when it's
immediately.
only about you and him, it's okay because you know what you
Yeah,
wanted to do and you pursued it. But the impact of it to your
yeah,
surroundings, so just like and how and I really feel there is no answer to this. There is no solution
you're
to
right.
this.
No, you're absolutely right.
This is
No.
how life is, bro. There's always a give and take. And this is how it's going to be. That guy, the other guy is looking to become you and you are looking to become him now.
Yeah,
This is just how life, man, I'm tired of running after money, bro. I need money. Right? Like two.
yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, you do need money. Even if you want to do good, it has a price. You
Right.
need more money. Yeah, you're right.
This is the like actually this is like the beauty of life actually, and I want to strictly use the word beauty because this is how you have to look at it as a beauty,
Hmm.
not as a constraint, not as a limitation, not as a this is the beauty of life that everything every time is going to be different, situations are going to be different, every choice that you make will have a consequence, every action will have something to show, something to everything gained will have something lost, right? Every this example, we talk about people talk about trading and this and that stuff. We know what we have sacrificed to sit in front of those charts and computers, right? You know that it is a very example. It is a very isolated game, right? In that sense, right? Whereas
Right.
somebody who takes up sports goes very socializing like, but they know that they have given up what else they have given. So everything that you take up and the thing is you can never jot down what you are giving up and what you're taking on because you can never have a complete list in front of you. You just can't because you don't know sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What comes because of this. I never knew that my sleeping schedule would become the way it is. Like I had slight ideas, but I did not know that exactly how, but it's okay. I know my desire, my passion for something is such great that I don't mind sacrificing some things like that, right? Or I know that how much time now I spend in front of charts and, computers example. Whereas when I was in my consultation days, I was always with people. So each thing comes with something, and that's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. You ask somebody that, hey, I wish I had all the money in the world, okay?
Yeah.
And when you get it, that comes with something. That comes with something. That comes with you not finding your people. You're like, oh, who do I like? Tell me how hasn't this happened? You like you with your entrepreneurial ventures was able to find so much time in the day, but not
Yeah.
but nobody to spend their time with.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. Yes.
What happened? You found time, but whom you found time, right?
You have to,
But
yeah, you find the time.
you lost the
You
people you
find
spend
the
the
time.
time with.
You sacrifice, you find the time. I know exactly what you mean. You
So this is
find it.
so give and take, bro. And you can never complete the list. You can never know everything before it happens. And this is, and I don't want to end this thing with just saying that's just life, but this is part. This is how things
It's
unfold,
just the way
right?
things work right now.
Yeah, it's complete. It's constant unfolding, constant folding of certainty, uncertainty. I never knew. I didn't think of this. This happened. That happened. I don't know it was going to be this way, or I predicted it was this. It was going to be this way, but not of this intensity, bro.
Mhm.
It's a constant unfolding of surprises. That's what like. That's what things seem to be like.
I like that constant unfolding of surprises. I think that's a wonderful way to put it. So, Ali, I think like, there's just one point left to
Uh-huh.
discuss on this one. I feel like I want to go back to the original, well, not
Uh-huh.
original,
Uh-huh.
what I started in the beginning. And I feel like having discussed all of this and, now that we have so much insight, do you in your like I want to hear your
Mm,
thoughts on this and then I will sort of share
mm,
mine on this
mm,
one, or if you want I can go first. But
mm.
do you think confidence leads to courage or courage leads to confidence?
I feel completely separate entities, bro. A
You don't
confident
think
person
that
might
they're related?
no, a confident person I think confidence might lead to courage, but
Okay.
courage might not lead to confidence.
Why do you say
Yeah,
that?
like you because like you could preparation gives you confidence, and then somebody it's easy to convince. It's easy for me to convince you to be courageous when when you are already confident. Like I have some things to prove. I have some things to show you in order to encourage you. 'Cause like, hey, I've seen you do this. I know you do this really good, right? You just have to do it. You just have to do it now. I've seen. I know you can do it. I've seen you do it. You know you can do it, right? Just get the courage to do it bigger. Like this kind of conversation, right? But whereas, uh, and now I'm just trying to think courage to uh, be courageous, and then be if you be courageous, and then you will be confident. I'm just not seeing the link. Kind of, I'm not seeing one before the other. Kind of, I see confidence before courage, but for some reason, I'm not seeing confidence after courage. Courage feels like uh, courage of doing it once. Okay, here, courage of doing it once might give you the confidence of doing it again. That you put in when you got the courage to
Ali,
do
you're
it,
disconnected.
and you did it once, then maybe you can
Right.
have the confidence of doing it again because you were courageous. So both ways, no man. Sorry I went a little bit here and there, but yeah, they missed.
Because I've been thinking about it a lot to myself. Like, is there a link between the two, or are they two separate entities? Right. And it, I wanted to say originally that courage is what leads to confidence, because I don't see a lot of people are, well, I don't see that, there's a lot of natural confidence out there, right? I feel that even with people that are confident, they lack the courage to to display that confidence, because you have to be able to display that confidence, right? Just because you have a particular skill set and you're really good at it, you have to be able to display it. To display that skill set requires you to have courage to do it, to show the world, like, look at what I can do, right? And I feel like it leads to more confidence if you have the courage to put yourself out there, so to speak. Let's just, to simplify it, just to put the courage to put yourself out there. I feel it leads to a level of confidence that if I can put myself in a very difficult situation, I am capable of doing anything as long as I put my heart and my soul into it.